Welcome to the Automation Zone, a video series brought to you by Miracle's RPA Center of Excellence.
Hi, and welcome to the Automation Zone video series. I'm Monica Chirkuri, working as lead for data, cognitive, and RPA teams at Miracle's Innovation Labs. Banks offer several services to their customers. So, email is one of the medium through which customers can reach out to the bank representatives for most of the services, whether it's an inquiry to get some information or to update some details in their bank. Um, and so on. So today I'll be explaining to you about how we can automate and manage those customer requests that's been coming through emails with the help of RPA and AI. Here is our agenda for today. First, I'll be explaining about what RPA and IPA are and what is the importance of combining both RPA and AI. I'll also explain a bit about AI Fabric and its functionalities as well. And then I'll talk about the use cases of the banking service request that we picked to show you today. And I'll also tell about how the ML models that we built will work by showing a sample request as an example. Later, I'll show you the architectural flow of our bot followed by a live demo. So in simple terms, RP is a software that allows us to program bots to replicate human actions. So the bots will execute mundane and repetitive tasks just like humans do across different applications and systems. So the employees can focus more on the higher valued work. Artificial intelligence is nothing but applying an algorithm on historical data. So it finds patterns and predicts a defined attribute. Intelligent process automation is more like a combination of robotic process automation and artificial intelligence. It's like making your RPA bot smart with the AI. RPA performs rule-based automations. We don't have to change the underlying applications or systems. It just automates the process on top of the existing systems. But RPA does have a limit when it comes to automating complex tasks. Like it can't take human-like decisions on its own. But when we include ML models into these bots, they will get the ability of solving or like the decision making capabilities. So whether it's recognizing an image or extracting information from unstructured documents or understanding natural language from voice and text inputs, it's more like giving intelligence to the bot, so human intervention is not much needed. UiPath is providing this capability through AI Fabric in UiPath Orchestrator, where we can deploy our ML models and consume them in the bots. So to work with AI Fabric service, we need to have an ML model first. You can use a programming language such as Python or use any AutoML platforms for building the ML models. So once you're good with the accuracy of your model and feel that it's ready, all you have to do is zip your model file and the metadata that you need to run your model, and then upload that zip file into the AI Fabric in Orchestrator. So it creates an AI endpoint which can be consumed in the workflows in UiPath Studio. In UiPath Studio, there'll be an activity called ML Skills. You can drag and drop it into your workflow and then connect the ML skill that is already deployed in Orchestrator. So we can also configure the skill to continuously learn and improve over time. Banks usually monitor the transaction patterns of a customer through a fraud detection system. If there's a sudden spike in the spending patterns, it will be caught up by the existing fraud detection system that is in place. When people travel, they often tend to spend more than usual, and that too in a non-home location, whether it's out of state or out of country. That might result in blocking the card by the bank. So, in order to avoid that, customers can send an email about their travel updates and other details to the banks, so that the bank representatives will update those details in their systems for that particular account. Banks will also receive several requests for account closures from their customers, that too through email. The bank representatives have to update those details in their systems for deactivating an account in the account of the customer. Banks will have a customer care email ID or a designated email ID to which the customers can send in their service requests to. Some people might send an email for asking some information. Some people might send it for travel details update or any other service. So when we use RPA and read those emails, the related module process should be automated in the banking system. Like if the email is about a travel request, the bot should automate the process of a travel request in the banking portal. If the email is about an account closure request, the bot should automate the process of account deactivation in the banking portal. But RPA doesn't really know like which email is for which service. So there might be multiple emails with different service requests. So that's where AI comes into picture. We have built an ML classification model which will read the email subject and body and classify which service request it belongs to. For example, if you can see here, if a customer sends an email like this for updating the travel details, the mail subject says the travel update and the body says like I'll be traveling to Canada from this date to this. I would like to update these details in my account. So first, the classification model will be triggered. Um, this classification model will look for any keywords just like an NLP does. So it will take the subject and body and then it will look for the keywords like, for example, here you can see travel, traveling, and Canada is a location. So that location will also be a keyword for identifying which service request it belongs to. So since it has keywords like travel, traveling, and all, this will come under travel update. So the classification model will categorize this email into a travel request. So once the classification is done for the email, then it has to go and automate that particular module in the banking portal. Before doing that, it has to fill in some details that are extracted from the email. So in order to extract the details from the email, we have used another model, that is entity extraction model, that will basically read all the details such as location, dates, account numbers, and such. So here in this example, you can see Canada is a location. It identifies that, and it also extract the dates from and to date. So it will also recognize this as a from date and this as a to date, and it will give all those details into the. All those details as output, so the bot can utilize it and update those in the banking portal. So here is the architectural flow of our bot. So when customer sends in request to email, our RPA bot is triggered to read emails from Outlook. So when it receives emails, when we trigger the bot, it will read all the emails. First, it will trigger the classification model and then the entity extraction model. So before that, as I said, we have to deploy our ML models in Orchestrator, right? So we have used Python for building those models, and we have deployed those into Orchestrator. So when the bot reads the emails, it will first trigger the classification model, which will basically tells which service request it belongs to, and then the entity extraction model will extract all the deeds and the account numbers and all. Those all will be stored into an Excel sheet for future reference. And then it will get the credentials for banking portal from the Windows Credential Manager, and then logs into the banking portal. Once it's successfully logged in, it will input the details that it has extracted earlier into the specific module in the banking portal. Like if it's a travel request, it will update the dates from due dates and the country, the details into the travel request module. If it's an account inactivation, it will update the account number, and it will tag that account as inactive in the banking portal. So the same process will be repeated for all the mails in the Outlook. For the first one, the bot will log into the banking portal, but for the next emails, it will just continue with the process like storing the details into Excel and then entering that details into the banking portal. Once all the emails are done, it will log out of the banking portal and the process will be stopped. So it's time to take a look at how the banking service request automation is being done. So let's check that out in the demo. Here is our UiPath orchestrator where you can see all the ML packages, skills, and logs. So when you want to use an ML model in your workflow, first you have to upload the ML package in here. So you have to upload the code and the metadata related files. You have to zip all of them and you have to upload it here. Once you upload them, you can see over here I have two packages right now. Once you upload these packages, they will be generated as skills and you can see them under ML skills. So basically what happens is an AI endpoint will be generated for each model that you upload and they'll be generated as skills over here. So once you get them here, you can utilize them in your RPA workflow in UiPath Studio. So as you can see, I have three emails for two for travel update and one for account inactivation. So let me go ahead and start the bot and see how it runs. So when I first run the bot, it will go and read all the 100 emails from the Outlook. Um, Once it has run one email, it will trigger the classification model, so to figure out which service request it belongs to, and once it's done, it will then trigger the entity extraction model that will basically read all the details. So here you can see it's reading the first email. It will read the email ID, so all the details that the ML models give out, it's writing it in the Excel sheet over here, and then it will get the account credentials from Windows Credential Manager, and it is logging into the banking portal that we have in Salesforce. So once it's successfully logs in, since our first one is a travel request, it will go into the maintenance module here. So there's a travel request over there. So it's entering all the details into this travel request module. So here you can see it as for country, start date, and due date. So the details that are extracted from the email are being entered into here. So once it saves these details, it will go back and read the second email. So here you can see it's reading the second email and it's going through all the ML models and all the details are extracted. Since our Salesforce application is already open, it will directly go ahead and our second request is for account inactivation. So it will go ahead with the account inactivation module and it will enter those details in here. And we have an option to inactivate the account here. So it's just inactivating it and then it saves it. So once it's done, it go back to the Outlook and reads the third email. So once it reads the email ID, so the same process goes on for the third one as well. So this is again a travel request. So under maintenance, you can find a travel request. So it will enter all the extracted details from the email and it will enter all those details into this travel request module of this banking portal. So as you can see, it's entering all the details. It's entering the country, start date, and end date. and then it clicks on save. So we have only 3 mails. So the processing of all the mails are done. So now the bot is logging out of the Salesforce application. So here you can see the bot execution has been done. This is how it processes all the email-based banking service requests that the customer sends in. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Automation Zone, a video series brought to you by Miracle's RPA Command Center. For more about automation, please visit miraclesoft.com/RPA.